Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen.
With me today, Jennifer Roerker, the Perception Facilitator.
This is your daily dose of happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today.
Thank you for joining us today. Our good friend Sam Page is feeling a little under the weather today, so he won't be joining us today. But Jennifer and I were chatting before we got started, and let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, she's psyched. She's psyched because of this guest, right? I mean,
yes.
Even before I told you the stuff I told you, you were psyched, and then you were really psyched afterward.
Yeah, and it just kind of played into my day. I was having a funky day, which doesn't really happen too often for me. It was like a wrench came into my day, and I was like, and then I felt myself dwindling as I was giving all my power away to that negative charge out there. And then as soon as I saw Toni's website and started going into everything that you're about, I was like, the light came. I was like, thank you.
It is true. Well, it also starts with her domain name, effingsimple.com. I mean, come on. What a great name.
Yeah.
Makes it very, very clear where she's coming from. Her name is Toni Vanschoyck. And Toni, first of all, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you being here. But you got to clue people in on what we're hinting at here. You know, what's your story? What's your background? Because we're doing it the psych people up way without actually giving them any data. So you got to give them some data. All right.
Yeah, sounds good. And Walt and Jennifer, I'm so honored to be here today. I'm really super excited to share with you. Like, I am just like pulsating with energy because I love sharing, and I love y'all's platform and what you stand for. I think we definitely need more of this in the world, and really focusing on, you know, what's going right and how grateful we are to be waking up every single day, regardless of the outside noise. But to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been an entrepreneur for actually more than half of my life. I started my own brick and mortars back when I was in my early 30s, and it progressed into, being in the network marketing sector to, having my own author platform, my own speaking platform. And we just launched 2 other businesses within this last year because, I just saw a need for it. And the reason why I call it effing simple is because everybody makes it so dang complicated, and it doesn't have to be. Not life, not business, not anything that falls under what I call pillars. And those are, 3 to 5 things that you live your life on a daily basis of. And so I really wanted to take even technology, right? And I really wanted to simplify it. And so that's what effing simple stands for, is and for lack of a better word, the LCD, the lowest common denominator of, what we need to do in these facets of our life to keep it simple.
I love that. Well, I mean, here, LOA Today got started a little over 10 years ago because I needed more information about how the law of attraction worked, which you can basically describe in one sentence. 1,900 episodes later, we're still discussing it. So talking about something effing simple being like, wow, ongoing conversational topic. These simple things, they are simple. The funny thing about simple things is they're not easy.
No, and people tend to want to complicate it. So I think that comes to a lot of people want to complicate it because then they say it's too complicated and I can't do it. When you look at the mitigating factors of anything that you do in life, it's 3 to 5 simple principles. And so when you remember that no matter what you're doing in life, if you just keep those common core values and principles at the forefront, then everything else kind of falls away.
And you call yourself a Fempreneur. Where does that come from?
So, female entrepreneur.
Okay. Love it.
Just a simple answer. I was expecting this long drawn out thing. No, just female entrepreneur. Okay. End of sentence. Done. That's the essence of keeping it simple.
Yeah. Exactly.
I love that. All right. So, tell us a little bit more about these businesses that you started because, and you've been fairly successful with them, I would say, but, cue people in on that.
Yeah. So, you know what? Thank you for that. We're doing really well. And, when we launched, our business back in 2014, and this was, our hair care business, we had no idea how it was going to scale. We knew that there was a market need based on our market research for clean hair care products that were actually non-toxic, but actually had efficacy. So we've been living green and clean for over 20 years. And I was in that space because I love clean products. And every time I would go to my hairdresser and I would try something, even though it was branded as a clean product, it didn't have the results. And so that's kind of what led us on this journey, doing the market research, finding the one, the one key item that really helped propel, our hair care line forward. And now it exploded, and we're now a $3 billion company in just 8 years on an affiliate e-commerce network marketing platform, and we're only in 9 countries. So when you look at Apple and Google and all of these big names, it took them anywhere from 5 to 10 years to get to that first billion. Mm-hmm. So, now we're a little over 3, 8 years in means the product really works. And that's my baby. That's been, a great segue into doing other things that we wanted to do, such as authoring the books. And those are all under our Effing Simple platform. Our speaking, and that's where I'm getting God bumps right now talking about it. I love to share with other people and just to see those light bulbs go off and speaking in front of folks. And then, of course, our and I call it the customer relationship motivator. And then our CRM, which we just launched in August to help entrepreneurs just be more effective on their platform, to have the follow up, to gain, more business, to have repeat business, and just really taking all of technology and putting it under one roof as far as, a lot of the platforms have to offer. So we've done a lot of different things over the last 10 years, but I'm just going to say I can't wait for the next 10, because I can't wait to see what we're going to be able to fill as far as needs go, and what I see is possible.
I love so many things in what you just said, not the least of which is you found a better hair care product and people beat a path to your door. What a shock. That's the formula. Yeah. It's so freaking simple. Why is it so difficult? I don't know, but you kept it effing simple, and you achieved it. You made that better product, and you put it out there. You put it out in a way that's very aggressive and very current, 21st century, and was therefore very effective. I know that's how you got to $3 billion, that affiliate program that you put together.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. It's been great, and it gives people so many opportunities. And that's the one thing, because I'm a person of service. And so I want to be able to help people no matter where they are in their lives and what is currently going on behind closed doors, and just knowing that we have a solution that can help them. That's a big deal.
Okay. So Jennifer's chomping at the bit here. I'm going to shut up and let her ask a question or two.
I guess a lot more people are aware about what they do put in their hair. Like I don't really buy products like that for the hair, but I should be buying products like that for the hair, because it is healthier for your hair, your scalp, your body is absorbing your skin, a lot of the things you're putting on it. So it's not just topically putting it on your head. It's sinking into your skin essentially, right?
Yes, 100%. So it takes 7 seconds for anything that you put on your skin where you have pores, and your scalp is just like your skin. It has pores as well. And then of course you're in the shower and all of that is rinsing, the suds are rinsing down and everything like that. So we have to be, and especially in this time and place in our society, we have to be super cognizant of what we are not only ingesting, but what we're putting on as far as skincare, hair care, all of those things. And that is one of our messages, is that we want to have, products that people can trust in, that they know that are good for them, that they know that have a 0 toxicity rating, and they have no carcinogens, because personal care products, they are not regulated in our country. Mm-hmm. So what means is that, okay, this is where my nerd comes in. So just bear with me here for a second. Since 1908, we haven't banned a chemical. So when you think about what Canada, Europe, and Australia have done, they have banned many more, cancer-causing chemicals and questionable chemicals from not only their food products, but their topical products. We don't do that here. So we, as being a U.S. based company, we took the standard and set the standards the same thing that Australia does in Europe. And so we have, that, that scientific fact and the proof that, we're doing what we're saying that we're doing. Not only, from, just packaging a product, but we have, we have sustainable farms. We're non-GMO, we're gluten-free, Leaping Bunny certified, which means that we test on people, not on animals. So we have even our own recycling and nonprofit give back program. So we as a company have taken everything that it means for a company that's doing things right, giving back to the communities, giving back to Mother Earth, and, just taking that to what I call the nth level as far as being responsible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I'm thinking about my hair.
And Jennifer, by the way, lives in Canada, so she already experienced some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And my hair grows like a weed. I just had it cut. It was down to my butt. Within a year, it'll be down to my butt again. It does grow really quick. And I do use products, I guess, from the hair salon, but that doesn't mean that they're good products. It doesn't mean that they're good for your body products and what you're ingesting. So I am going to go look at the ingredients after this. And then, so with hair products and stuff, I'm just having a look at your website. Can you buy the hair products off of your website, or where do you buy your hair products?
Yeah. So it's all e-commerce based. So
Okay.
you can go right to my website. What I prefer is that we customize because we have products for every hair challenge, every hair type, everything. Like if you're looking in the mirror and you're saying, okay, my hair is frizzy today, or I've experienced some loss from, postpartum or stress or a surgery, we want to get the right products into your hands. So I like to customize. So I really like when people reach out to me, we can customize something for you, find out what's going on, and then I can recommend products. I just don't like sending people there because, I'm all about customer service. So we want to get that totally the right products into your hands.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Actually, now I have questions. I mean, because Jennifer, you got me thinking here, and not because I'm an older man. I'll tell you brutally honestly, Toni. I normally don't wash my hair because I know how harsh the chemicals are in the detergents. So I still have hair. Most men my age don't have hair. I have hair. So I've done that much, but it would be good to get some of the stuff out of my hair that really shouldn't be there. What do you recommend?
So we actually have products specifically designed to do that, to help, leach out any chemicals or plastics. And, if you're using tap water, for the love, please just get a shower filter. But if you, regardless, if we've been out in the environment and, we've been in a hotel and we've washed our hair, there is buildup. We have products that will remove that. We also have products that will also help with thicker, fuller hair. It will completely stop hair fallout. I have to be also careful about what we say because of the medical kind of like fine line, but we've had a lot of people that have had regeneration with hair fallout. So and we have all clinical studies done on all of this. So, Walt, we're able to help you. Jennifer, we're able to help you. Anybody in between, no matter, what they need. And, we have over 90 products in our arsenal right now that will help, styling products, regenerative, restorative products, products for every ethnicity, every hair type, thin, fine hair. So, we are very conscious of helping people, and I say it's the crown that you never take off. So we're all about helping people looking and feeling better when they're looking in the mirror.
We'll put out the generic disclaimer too that no medical advice is being given here. So if you're looking for medical advice, go to your doctor. We're just sitting here chatting, sitting around the fire, talking about stuff that we believe to be true, and it's up to you to figure out whether or not we're telling the truth. It's completely up to you.
Right.
But I love that. Yeah. So I'm going to reach out afterward. I'm going to find out more about what you would have for an older man like me, because that isn't a risk after a while. And my family is full of bald men. I mean, it's very common. I'm one of the rare ones who actually have most of my hair, not all of it, but most of it. I certainly have hair on top, which a lot of guys can't talk about when they're over 60. So I'm happy about that, but it would be nice to actually have cleaner hair, because the way I got there was just by not using detergent hair products.
Right.
What is it that you do when you're talking about you have an author program? Like, is that you're publishing books, or can you explain a little more about that?
Yeah. So, I've always wanted to write a book. I believe that there's a book inside of all of us. And, yeah, there is. And so, but for me, because I'm such an energetic, high vibration person, I would sit down and I would write chunks, and then they would be all over the place. Like I probably have 10 Moleskine books right now, that I've brought around to different events, or I've gotten them at different events, and you're writing down notes, and nothing was ever streamlined. So when I got the inkling to write the first book, I actually met an incredible editor and publisher. His name is Mike Fallett. It's called Dream Starters, and he's helped bring over 300 authors in the last 5 years that I've known him to number one. So he has a system, and that's what I loved. And he helped me streamline all of my thoughts. So the first book we wrote 5 years ago, it was based on small business, network marketing. It went number one. And then a year later, and it's probably my favorite book, but it was called Effing Simple, You Do You. And that's about being the best version of you. Waking up every single day. How can I be better today than I was yesterday? And then the third book that we just, that I wrote a year and a half ago was, I took all of, 6 other amazing women that really impacted my life, and I got their story out there. So that was kind of a compilation. And then our fourth book that is in the middle of editing right now, I wrote an entire book on the CRM because of the process and because a lot of network marketing, it's antiquated, and we don't have systems and we don't have innovation. Out of all of the industries probably that I've ever seen, like we're like the last on the totem pole. And so my whole thing is, if I could help that be more productive, what it turned into is that we realized that we could have a platform for everyone that has a client list. And so that's kind of where we shifted our focus and really I was really trying to make myself more productive is really the bottom line, because I suck. I am all over the place, right? Just organization is not my thing. I love being with people. I love sharing a message. I love teaching, coaching, and training. But where I was being challenged is in organizational and being on social media. And that's a huge part of our business, and doing the follow-up and having the text message service and having email, the email service. So I kind of rolled that all into one, and that's kind of where it's, evolved to. But I wrote a whole book about building this platform because it truly was a labor of love. It was a lot of heartache. I lost a lot of money on it. I had, people that were saying, "Oh, we can build this platform," and then, you're paying them, and then they disappear. And so
I know that one.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of that one right now.
Okay. I got a guy for you. But through the process of this, I found a business partner, and, he had helped us build part of it. And then he was part of this bad business deal that went on. And he was just incredible, reached out to me, and he's like, "You know what, Toni?" He goes, "Please let me build this for you. I see your vision. I don't want any money from you, but I know that we can do this." And so, he was so gracious in helping me build this and really building my dream come to life. That's what our fourth book was written about, because there are still really great people out there that are trustworthy, that you can do business with, that you see technology and AI and IT and, all the fun things that I don't like, and you can bring it come to life, even for the simplest people that are not tech savvy. I am not tech savvy at all by any means. And so that's what our fourth book was about. And we should have that released probably at the end of March.
Nice.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Well, and you seem like you're constantly, challenging yourself. And it's just like a lot of people don't do that. And then they get stuck and kind of captivated in fear. Should I do this? Should I not do this? What if this happens? Oh, I better not do it because, so-and-so, might look at me this way. We always have all these fear blocks as to why we can't actually do something. And I love that. I love people that literally just like, no, you just do it. You just go ahead and you do it. And then you do one thing and then you do another thing. And then you just don't stop. You just keep going. Like life is always evolving. And when you're not constantly evolving, you're digging yourself up with the tulips, right? They're growing on your head where we get stuck.
One thing that I've noticed too is that there's really no difference between the people who just go and do it anyway and those who don't. They experience the exact same fears. They experience the exact same doubts. It's just that they decide to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, screw the fear. I'm just going to go. And the others say, I'm too afraid. I'm not going to go. And that's the only difference.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And knowing one thing, like the hair products like you did, and then going, okay, now I'm going to do this, which is completely different. And then I'm going to do this, something else different. Like I love that because you're training your brain to, stimulate your brain. It's like a mental massage.
It's become play for you too, I think.
What's that?
It's become play for her.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the passion, right? That's what actually feels like you're living instead of being lived. Like you're the creator instead of being created every day,
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's a fundamental difference because I was not that person before. I lived in very fear-based. When I first discovered the law of attraction, when The Secret first came out and I made my very first vision board and I had no idea what I was doing, but it was the power in that because I saw what I had achieved 3 or 4 years down the road from making that original vision board. And so therefore it gives you confidence when you realize that you're thinking outside of the box because I'm not an employee. I let that go a long time ago when I started having children and I wanted to be at home with them. And I did not want to answer to someone else who had control over my schedule. That was like the first big, I think, fundamental move. And then right when The Secret came out and it has its foundational principles and really creating your life by design. And I say that all the time, live life by design now, but it took a process to get there. You guys, it took me 45 years. So it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen when I was super young. It was a process through 2 divorces. I'm on my 3rd marriage. I've been through many, many failures. I never thought that, I could fall in love again and find, my guy, my life partner. And here I am now at 53 showing people that even they're a lot younger than I just want to cut through all of the red tape and all of the chasing tails. And I want to help the younger generation realize that their dreams and their goals and what they want, they're very much valid. And especially it wasn't like that. It was, go to school, get good grades, go to college, do this, do that. And it was living vicariously through my parents' eyes. I have never done that with my children. I have always encouraged them to live in their craft. I'm encouraging, and now because I do have this platform, I can encourage other young adults to live in their craft and be true to themselves. That's the fundamental difference, right? And that's why I'm here on this podcast today. I went through a lot of people that I was looking at when I was looking at matches to be a part of these platforms. And I'm like, y'all are speaking my language. So this is a huge part of it, us moving forward and helping other people. And they don't have to be younger, but I'm just saying, helping them realize that they truly have a God's calling. They have a path that they were put here on earth to do. And you know what it is, even though there may be a lot of layers that you've got to uncover to get back to that original reason why you were put here on this earth. And I truly believe that each and every one of us has our own path of enlightenment and that we're supposed to walk in that path and enlighten others.
Yeah.
Definitely true. And I love that you said it. You don't have to be young. It applies to anybody, everybody, no matter what their age. You could be 9, you could be 90, you can be anywhere in between. You can be over 90. It doesn't matter. If you're alive, if you're breathing, well, that, first of all, it means that your mission here on earth isn't done. And second of all, it means there's still time. Go for it. What are you waiting for? Right?
You do coaching like that with people, like where so tell me a little bit about that.
So I actually, this year I've been really focused on vision board workshops because it's all part of like that coaching platform and really helping people unlock their dreams. But yeah, I mean, I have my entire YouTube is dedicated to not only sales mastery and mindset, but it's also really ensconced in vision casting. I think, especially over the last 3 to 4 years, is that, people have forgotten. And they're so far down the path of the negative and all the stuff that's going on and all of this noise that they can't focus. And so really it's about, showing people how simple it is. Come to a vision board workshop. I coach that. It takes about 2 hours to do, sometimes a little bit longer, but you're coaching them through the whole process of them being able to dream again and to show them what is possible. I think that's one of the very first things that visionaries, creators like myself can help other people do, is that you can take the lid off of what these people think they can't do. And that is a huge part of it is the negativity. Oh, you can't do this. Or, they've been told no all, what are we told no? I think 250 times to 1 that we're told a yes, but they can't actually achieve anything that they want. It's just about us, giving them the framework and the foundation of how they can create that. They don't know what to do. A lot of people don't know what to do right now. They're stuck. And so for me,
it also takes a commitment though, doesn't it? I mean, it's not enough to be given that. You actually have to do something with it.
So it's so funny you said that, Walt. I was just listening to a podcast by John Gordon. I love him, the Energy Bus guy, and he's got a new book coming out, but it's about being committed. If you're not going to commit to the process, you're never going to get there. You can have what I call a dream. Okay. You can, and again, yes, you can have a goal, but they're called dream goals. Right? Because if you don't have a dream and if you don't put a goal with an action plan attached to it, you're never going to get there. And if you just have a dream, then that's a wish without an action plan. So it's about helping people create that foundation. Yes, I can get here, but what do you have to do in order to get there? So creating that action plan is really paramount. And so when I'm working with people in these workshops, they have to create an action plan that day within 24 hours. With the next 3 days, 7 days, 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out. So it's a constant reminder. Okay, I have to get into action to achieve this, or you know what? It's not going to happen. And that is the biggest thing. People with self follow-up, with their own self accountability, that is one of the biggest problems that I see, or shall I say challenges to overcome, that people need to overcome, is because of the accountability factor of themselves.
There's also another side that goes along with the planning side. And I know this one really, really well because it was me. And to a certain extent, it still is me. And that is, you can plan yourself to death. You can just plan and plan and plan and plan and plan and plan and not actually get anywhere because everything has to be just right. I got to get all the details in there. Everything's got to be mapped out. And one of the hardest things I've had to learn is sometimes you don't have all the details. Sometimes you have to work with a partial plan. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, it is. And especially for people, and I call them green personalities, the attention to detail. These are the perfectionists and the overthinkers.
Yeah. That's me. Hello.
But, in true form, the universe and the law of attraction loves messy momentum. They just get out there and just do it. Start. Just decide to start. That is the biggest thing for people to overcome, is just deciding to start. And that's all they have to do, is in order to propel that door to start to open just with that little crack, and I'm going to use this equation because Jennifer, I made my dogs go in the other room because they can be a little bit loud, but it's just like I had to, my dog, and this is going to sound really funny. So I told Lulu, if you decide that you want to come into the room and the door is partially shut, you gotta teach them to nudge it open, right? To open up their own doors. Essentially, this is what literally hand holding for a lot of people you have to do, is you have to hold their hand and you have to give them very specific instructions. Now, with that being said, sometimes people are more self-sufficient than others, but what we have taught is an employee mindset, right? They want to be told what to do. So that's the fundamental thing that I have found that has made our platform more successful, is giving them step by step by step. Then over the course of time, whether it's 6 months, 12 months, sometimes it's 18 months, they finally will, start doing it on their own, and they will teach other people how to do the same thing. So it's kind of like that cascading down effect. Mm-hmm. But the great thing is that you have to realize the type of person that you're working with, just like you mentioned, and how they are. So like, Walt, I mentioned you were a green personality, detail oriented. Mm-hmm. Then you have what I call yellow personalities, which are rooted in service, gratitude, and giving back. Then you have blue personalities, the people that are always like, oh, I want to have a good time. They're people persons. They love to have, parties. They love to be around other people, and they have no sense of structure. Then you have red that are extremely dominant, very calendar based, and they're also all about the money. So you have these 4-color personality types. So you have to figure out how you're going to help them based on what type of personality that they are. And I have found that has served me very well. Yeah, you can take a disc profile. Yeah, you can do Strength Finders 2.0. But if you want to really get down to the nitty gritty very quickly, the 4-Color Personalities by Big Al Schreider is a great book that everybody should read if you're in sales.
Very cool. Okay. Got another recommend there. That's something for the reading list.
I love how I'm hearing, it's interesting because I went to clean out a closet a few days ago, and I had this container full of all these old magazines. And I remember I just saved old magazines years ago, and I forgot about them because they were just tucked away under the stairs, and I was cleaning this cupboard out, or this closet. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was going to use these for a vision board one day, but I never, ever did. And so I called one of my friends the other day and I said, hey, I got all these magazines. We got to do a vision board soon. That'll be like a fun Friday night for me anyways, to sit and do a vision board. I think would be fun. And then even how, just hearing you say, just start. And that to me too, I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll do another YouTube channel again. And so then I was thinking, and then I put a video up the other day, and then I took the video down. And then I'm hearing you no, just start, just do it, right? Just go ahead. That's how you feel. It's the momentum, right? With law of attraction, you have to actually get things going and put the energy in motion for things to become something.
I'm reminded of Mike Dooley, one of the presenters in The Secret. He talks about, his example, his little storyline about how you do exactly what you just said, Jennifer, which is you treat it like a GPS. So you get into your car and you start driving and you're going in the wrong direction, right? You didn't have a really good plan. You're going in the wrong direction. What does the GPS do? It says, make a legal U-turn, go the other way. And that's the GPS is sort of the metaphor for those little, internal guidances we get that say, whoa. No, not that way. The other way, the other left.
Yeah.
So that's how you can learn to trust that. It doesn't really matter if you got it all figured out. You could be going the wrong direction entirely. You'll still get an indicator saying, no, it's the other direction. Just go that way.
Yes. Yeah.
So you guys know that, the graphic that, I love this. So it shows, one straight, hockey stick growth or, to success. And then you have that on one side, and then on the other side, it has success, and then it has
the squiggly line.
Yes. Yeah. And, being that during any path or anything in our life is that we know that life is just like the squiggly lines all over the place. There's no one direction. So you kind of have to try things, and then you have to step back, and then you have to recalibrate, and then you do it a little bit differently. And then then that works. And then, something that you try again, that's not working, you have to I always think that life is all about recalibration. So, depending on the time, depending on where you are in your life, what's going on externally, what's going on internally, is that life is all about, and the law of attraction and the universe and momentum, it's all about recalibration. But the one thing is that will definite, oh, good Lord. The defining moment is when you want to quit, and you don't quit, and you show up relentlessly. And I think that's one thing that I will say is that I always show up regardless, no matter what, no matter how hard my day has been, no matter, sales weren't what they were supposed to be for this week or what have you. But when you continuously show up and you show up on purpose and you show up in your craft and you show up with that great energy, that's the fundamental thing that makes me different, makes a lot of your listeners that are going to listen to this, they know that they're different because they have continuously done this, and, just shown up.
I love that. Yeah. Will Smith, the actor, once put out an Instagram post that he recorded while he was driving. And the thing that he said in the post is people get this impression that they hear about somebody who's very successful and they figure, well, they were just kind of successful right out of the gate. They never hear about all the failures that led up to that success. And the only reason that they achieved the success is they did exactly what you just said. They kept going.
Yeah.
Screw the failures. We're just going to go anyway.
Yeah. The persistence, right?
Yeah.
To keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things that can get in your way that can knock the legs out of people too and make them doubt themselves and, try to rethink things to get out of it. And like celebrities like Will Smith, I'm sure got hit hard with a lot of criticism from everywhere. But again, that persistence to keep going. Did you ever get any criticism from anybody? Did you ever get anything that made you doubt yourself or second guess what you were doing or anything, Toni?
Yes, all the time. And, the one thing that I have realized is that the more successful you are, the bigger the target. So you have more and more people out there, that want to see you fail. They're waiting for you to fail. Mm-hmm. Or there's a jealousy factor, social media, love it, hate it relationship. It's done great for our business, but at the same time, our house was in foreclosure at one point. I've been married 3 times. I have, 5 kids and I have 2 of them that are super challenging. I've started businesses with people and they've embezzled money from me. I have, I've been fired from jobs. I have, there's just so many different things, but failure is what makes you who you are because you rise above it, you learn, and you can choose to step in the poop or step around the poop, right? Yeah. It's a very simple analogy. People that really have, that they see something that they want to achieve, and there's nothing wrong with success. There's nothing wrong with having high achievements or high expectations or, have these goals that you want to hit. And they're big goals. I have huge goals over the next 10 years. I mean, some of them scare the crap out of me. But the one thing is that if you quit, then that's the only way you fail. Do you have to step back sometimes and assess the situations? 100%. But if you quit, that's the only way that you fail. I don't care what happens. We've experienced loss and, for those of you that are going to be listening out here, I know that there's been a lot of loss that's happened over the last few years. Friendships, broken friendships, family, what have you. But you know what? I look at it as all of those things can make you stronger in your resolve. You can either choose, and we've heard it before, you can either be the victor or the victim. Mm-hmm. And I played the victim role for a long time, for 30 years in my life. Mm-hmm. And that is no longer that possibility is off the table at this point. And that's what people out there listening to this today, you choose to be the victor. You choose not to play into the victim role mentality anymore, ever again. And that's the promise that you have to make yourself from here on going forward. If you are going to achieve those things that you want to achieve in life, you have to be the victor no matter what.
That's ongoing too, isn't it? I mean, that's not, you make the decision once and you're done.
Mm-hmm. One and done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's funny too, when we talk about these things, well, first of all, there's always a nice energy whenever we talk about this kind of thing here on the show. I mean, we got all these, really powerful viewpoints. I love the perspectives that come in. But when we're thinking about them on our own, that's when we trip ourselves up. That's when we get ourselves, down that spiral of, this it's never going to work. I'm going to fail. It's and that's when it's hardest to climb back out. It points to a number of things in my mind. One of the things it points to is the importance of connectedness. I mean, because we have a big connection going on here on the show. not just with the three of us talking here, but live streamers who are tuning in. We're getting some great commentary from them. People who are listening to the podcast later on, they're also participating in that energy flow. That's powerful. Not everybody has the opportunity to do a podcast every day. So if you're not doing a podcast, what do you do instead? That's where connections come in. Who are your friends? Who are your business associates? Who are your, just people you kind of know? What are the natures of those relationships? Because when you develop those relationships over time, that's where you get your flow from. Mm-hmm. We don't give a lot of credit to that, do we? Well, I really think we should.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's interesting too, just because as you were saying at the beginning, Toni, before we even came on air, it's like, all the stuff that's going on out there, we can really focus in on that and feel victimized and get way down and held back, or we can redirect our attention and focus in on things that are going to be supportive, supporting ourselves, right? Supporting our own mental well-being, especially for families, because people with kids, if one of the parents is down, it affects the whole house as well. So it's so important to be listening to podcasts like this or watching podcasts like this, whatever, and reading books that are healthy minded, because it can be easy to get captivated by the old, because for a lot of people, their programming is in that lane. So I'm so happy that you're on our show today. I don't believe in coincidences, and I feel like you're such a light to have today. I'm so grateful that you're here, because it's set my path in a different way today too. So thank you so much.
I'm so honored. This has been great. I mean, just like, I feel like a little butterfly floating around in here.
Yeah.
That's I know what you like too.
That's what it feels like every episode. But by the way, I believe that life is now, I used to believe that that everything that was coincidence I should dismiss. Now I understand that everything in life is a coincidence.
Yes.
And so I think entirely differently about the word coincidence. What I've learned to do is I've learned to take the word mere out of the sentence. It used to be, it's just a mere coincidence. Now it's another coincidence. It's like one after another, after another, after another, after another. Whoa, there are a whole bunch of these little babies going on here.
Yeah.
So again, how are you going to look at it? That's the way I think about it.
Do you ever write them down, Walt, the coincidences?
Sometimes. I'm not a big journaler.
Okay, yeah.
I tend to journal more when I'm in pain than anything else.
Right. Yeah.
I need to work through something. And so I'll journal it. But most of the time I don't do it through journaling. Lately, I made reference to this yesterday. I was having a conversation with a good friend, Stacey Clonet, who's been on the show before, and telling her about some stuff I'm dealing with. And what she was recommending was just, spend your entire day doing gratitudes. Everything that happens, you have a cup of coffee, be grateful for it. You go to the bathroom, be grateful that you have a bathroom. You go do something in the kitchen, be grateful that you have a kitchen, that you have food to eat, that you have, you have dishes, just be grateful. And I'd kind of gotten away from that, but I've been doing it the last couple of days, and wow, that's just doing that. Just being grateful about the silliest, stupidest little things. I have a mouse. How grateful I am for this mouse. But just doing that on a regular basis, if you want a way to shift the momentum quickly, do gratitudes all day long.
Yes. 100%. Such a good way to start the day too.
Start, middle, end, everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Close the day is a good way to do it too. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Having that whole morning routine and evening routine. Yeah. And I agree with you 100%, Walt, that, all throughout the day, but, I start my morning with gratitude. I end my day with gratitude and with my devos. So those are non-negotiables. And it sets up your day for success, and it sets up your sleep pattern for success. And that's so important to get into a regular pattern of giving gratitude.
Do you find yourself doing it throughout the day?
I do. And it's funny you mentioned this. So, I can't remember, it was on a podcast I was listening to a couple of weeks ago, and I realized I wasn't giving enough gratitude throughout the day. So I actually have set my phone to every hour go off for 2 minutes. And what am I grateful for right now in that moment? Mm-hmm. Just remembering, because, with as much as we see, I can tend to go to the negative before I go to the positive. And I'm like, nope, We have to remember what we're grateful for. And I have to reel myself back in. And that has been a constant battle with me ever since I can remember, because I was raised in a very negative, very abusive, emotionally and verbally abusive household. So, you always have to mind your mind. It's the most important diet that you have to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. I like that. A diet. That's exactly what it is. Because it's a diet of life, a diet of living. How are you going to live? And it doesn't matter what your background is. If you've had an abusive background, well, yeah, okay, there's where your negativity is going to come from. But I don't care what you do in life. I don't care where you live. I don't care, what your career is, how successful you are, how much of a failure you are. It doesn't matter. Guess what? We're all dealing with negativity on a regular basis because that's the way life is structured. Life is structured around negative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons people like drama so much. Drama isn't about all nice butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
Drama is about terrible thing going on here. Climax. Oh my God, crazy stuff going on. How are we going to resolve this? That's what drama is all about.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're so drawn in. That's why people are just, they get stuck to their screens watching dramas. Like, oh, wow, look at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's pretty magnetic.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because, even since my kids were very, very little, I have always maintained that we are a drama-free household. So they weren't allowed to bring any of that stuff from school going on at home unless it was, more of a serious issue, or we could have 5 minutes, you can dump, and then we're done. And then we're moving forward. We're not going to focus on this. And that has served, our children very, very well in life.
It's a great skill to learn.
Totally different kind of upbringing than you had, right?
Yes.
And so you took that negative growing up and used it as a springboard towards something great. And so that you can really be grateful. Because I feel like sometimes, if we don't know, have that sort of dark night of the soul or grow up in challenging times, really, really appreciate things to the degree that we do once we do succeed. Mm-hmm.
100%. And I think that's also, surrounding yourself with, with people that, really you pour into each other. I have, so many amazing people that, we've met along our journey, not just, through our businesses, but through life in general, that, you complement each other so well, and you can really play off of each other's strengths and each other's opportunities. And that's one of the things that I'm most grateful for, is the people that we've met along in this journey, whether they stay for a season, whether, they're more long-term, or whether they're lifelong. Everybody comes into your life for a reason, and they can teach you something. And that's one of the, I'm a professional relationship builder. I'm a people person. And so I want to know, how can I contribute to other people's lives, but what can I learn from them? Because there's so many different diverse people that can bring so many different experiences to the table. And I think that's one thing that we've kind of gotten away from, especially, after we got out of being, locked into our houses forever, how long we were, is that we forgot how people can contribute to our lives and how we can do vice versa. And that's one of the things that I truly love about being, an entrepreneur, is that you can, even if they're not going to benefit you financially, you still can benefit from them, their experiences, what they can bring to the table, and really taking each person that you meet and saying, how can I serve them? How can I help them win? How can I be the best version of me for them? And that's how I wake up every single morning. Even for my kids, people that know me, new people that we meet. But I think that's really important to remember, is that as we are moving on through life, is that we have to really be invested in other people, and we have to be professional relationship builders.
Yeah, I like that. Being invested in other people. And I'm also reminded too that we were talking a moment ago about the dramas and the negatives and so forth. But those dramas and negatives are also quite useful to us. I mean, there are times when we need to do like what you did in your house. You basically make a drama-free environment so that, people can learn to grow and thrive in them. But by the same token, that's also where we do most of our learning. I mean, you described it yourself. You did most of your learning in your experience, Toni, with the failures. If it weren't for the failures, you wouldn't learn. So it's kind of like, it's not so much a catch-22. It's sort of like, which way are you going to look at it? If you find yourself, you're being, absorbed into all the negativity, well, that's probably a good time to draw a boundary and say, okay, I'm done with the negativity for a while. But when you can get yourself into a place where you say, I don't like that, but I'm learning from it, that's an even more powerful place, because now that drama, that trauma, that negative isn't controlling you anymore. You're learning from it. You're actually getting stronger because of it. And most importantly of all, it's no longer governing you.
Yeah.
That's where the biggest improvements happen. That I'm willing to bet, Toni, that's where you had the biggest growth with the hair care products business, where you got to a point where those dramas, those traumas, all those negative things, they just didn't seem so bad anymore.
I would agree with you 100%. So right before, this took off with the hair care, my husband and I we were not in a good place. We were struggling, but we used those struggles to say, okay, this is it. No more. We're all in. We're 110% committed, and we are not looking back. And I think that was the fundamental decision when I decided to commit to this on August 15th of 2014.
She knows the date.
I know the date that we were going to continue to move forward, and we were not going to look back. So, and I mean, like literally Jay and I were going to split up. I mean, that's how financially strapped we were. We were always fighting about, different things. We were having trouble with, my son, who has had some massive challenges, and it all came to like this one great big, and if people know me, they know that I would probably, drop a significant word here, but all the crap hit the fan, right?
Yeah.
And we were there, and I just looked at him and I said, I have to do this. I feel I do not have a choice. I have to do this. You need to be behind me. You need to stand behind me. I need your support. And you know what? Just be quiet.
Yeah.
Give me 6 months. And so, that's really kind of where we were at that kind of like fork in the road in our life. And you know what, for lack of a better word, it was a gamble that paid off, because, we started from nothing. We bootstrapped everything, and I just saw the vision of what this could be. And, it was the right roll of the dice at the time.
Well, it was more than a roll of the dice. It was that was certainly part of it. But it was also a roll of the attitude. That's really what I was trying to get at. You somehow got yourself into a headspace that said, I'm okay with all this. Screw all that fear. I'm okay with this. Let's just go.
Yeah. Yep. That was pretty much what I told. I said, I'm going. I'm going. I'm taking off. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're not going to look back. And I am not taking no for an answer. And we jumped in, and, we shattered records in our first year.
Wow.
Wow. Did you have a business background before you got into doing all of it?
Yeah, I had 2 brick and mortars prior to, our hair care business, which it gave me the foundation, but also too, I was really tired of trading time for money. And this was something, with e-commerce and affiliates and stuff like that, you could, build and you could grow, and it would still, continue while we slept. And having my lawn service and my daycare, it wasn't like that. If your doors weren't open, you weren't making money, but it gave me the foundational skill set and learning for being an entrepreneur. And so therefore, I didn't know what scaling was back then. Just learn how to scale the business quite quickly. We've been able to help other people do the same thing. And then with our other businesses, just, building businesses to help scale and to help others scale. So that's truly, kind of was our journey, 9 years ago. But having that foundational background of owning my own brick and mortars, which really gave me, and we did well until I got divorced. Those businesses went away. with that second divorce. And so I lost my shirt on all of it. Didn't have, two nickels to rub together, and basically started all over from scratch. And I wasn't scared. I mean, I was literally, Jennifer, at the time that my second divorce happened, because I had ran restaurant. I started bartending when I was in college, put me through. I was a single mom at the time, paid all my bills. I literally, for fast cash, was going back behind the bar when I was 32 years old just to make ends meet to feed my children. So, been there, done that. So you talk about grit, you talk about resilience. Those are the two things that I had, that I based my foundation of where we are now.
Wow. You're inspirational. Hey, Walt.
I'm just smiling here because I didn't realize that one of your brick and mortars was lawn care.
Sorry.
I'll tell you why I'm smiling. I just went through divorce. I'm divorced from a woman who I helped to build a gardening service and maintenance business. I'm in the process of negotiating with her to take over that business so I can use that to finance my project, which is to create sort of an e-commerce SaaS type project. I'm thinking, oh my God, the parallels here are just insane.
Yeah, no coincidences, or you're saying the coincidence, right? Well,
right. Yeah. Coincidences everywhere.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, we need to take this, to take this offline and have a conversation.
Have a conversation. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, these parallels are just too crazy. Before we take it offline though, we got to do a couple things. All right. First things first, we already know the website is effingsimple.com. Okay. Mm-hmm. When they go there, what are they going to find there, first of all?
So if they click out and fill out the intake form, they'll get my free ebook.
Okay.
Then they'll find the other platforms if they're interested in the hair care, in the CRM, any of our speaking gigs or books. All of the links are right there for them. They can just choose what they want or what they don't want.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's what they're going to find on that.
And you mentioned toward the beginning of the program that you like to basically work with people to help find how to customize things for them. I imagine that you really can't do that personally yourself with everybody, but you probably have some sort of process set up for that. So if somebody wants to get that kind of help, how do they go find that help?
So the same thing. So when they go to effingsimple.com, they can click on to take our hair quiz. It's essentially called the beauty quiz, but they can do that. And then I get the results immediately. Because this can be a super sensitive subject, they can just reach out to me. My Instagram handle is right here on the screen at Toni Vans Official. They can reach out to me and I can personally work with them to help them out.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Okay. So we'll make sure that we include that Instagram handle in the show notes along with the website link. And anything else you want to tell them about that you're doing that people might want to be able to kind of latch onto?
So I actually have some incredible speaking gigs. I'm actually, Jennifer, I'm going to be in Toronto. I don't know where you are in Canada. And then I have 5 other cities that I'm hitting in June. But I travel to speak, to coach. If you want to find out our schedule of events, that's also on effingsimple.com. I would be honored. Just let me know if you can be there. Send me a message. I'll get you connected with free guest tickets. That's the first thing. The second thing is, as soon as our book comes out, I will let our social media platform know. Would love your support. You can get the book for free when we launch it, and just please share it. And if there's anything that I can do to serve you, that's what I'm all about. So I answer every single message that I get because it's really important to me, because I know how people can struggle. And I feel that there's room at this table for every single person.
I love that. I think Jennifer loves that as much as I love that.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful today. So this is part of my gratitude list right now and when I go to bed tonight.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Toni, there's one other thing I gotta just tell you, because like so many givers who come onto the show, you're definitely in the giver category. And givers have many people that they talk to through podcasts. They write books, they post blog posts, all those different kinds of outreach. And many of them they'll never meet, they'll never see, and they don't know what goes on, but they know somehow in some ways people are being helped and they just don't ever actually see that. And I don't think we get enough credit for that. So on behalf of all those people that you'll never meet, that you'll never see, that you've helped over the years and that you're continuing to help. Thank you for what you've been doing. Thank you for what you continue to do.
Thank you, Toni.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. This was so great. So great.
Definitely is reciprocated. It was great for us too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jennifer. Looking forward to next week. Can we top this next week? I don't know. Can we do that? Is that possible?
I don't know, but I think we say that a lot.
We do. But that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you very much, Jennifer. Thank you to our podcast listeners everywhere. We will see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.